good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with Sensie Owl Bob. How you doing, gang? Here it is. 6-ish p.m. Eastern. And it's a beautiful day today. Blue sky. I went around the area looking at, we have satellite locations handing out food and clothes and whatever you need. I mean, we really do have it all. And we're doing a good job, but the folks are getting a little tired. I'm trying to get to take it easy, take a day off. And they're doing that. The kids have bailed, for at least a week. We had teenagers who did pretty good. The young ladies did an excellent job. Out of the 8 or so young men, maybe 4 to 6 did a pretty good job. 2 did a good job. And so that's the interesting thing I'm looking at is how men do not really step up to the community motif, They, have the positions of power, but they don't really step into, look at Joe Biden. Look what he's doing. It's like, really. And Donnie, he's, there isn't a politician really who's stepping up for the people, right? So, yes, let's see. Live chat. Yep, we got the live chat on there. And no one's here yet. Kind of tired. I was talking to some folk and they were like worried that, we have mountains of water, right? And we have them outside, right? And so is that sun going to melt the plastic and am I going to drink plastic? No, those bottles are not going to, poison you any more than they did before when you bought them at Walmart. They're still exactly the same and they're not going to do any worse. I mean, it's plastic, water's in there. But yeah, if you're worried about, what's going in your body, don't worry about the plastic bottles. And so they put, tarps over them, and all the tarp does is bake them, right? It makes them hotter. Whereas if you just leave them out there in the sun, the UV goes right through the bottle and kills whatever might get you sick. So anyway, most people don't have common sense. Most people just, are a mess, right? Because they're influenced through their nervous system of their body, which that's not who they are. That's not their consciousness. Their body is just an avatar. Yet they let it overpower them through the senses, right? Through the cottage cheese between your ears, which is just your RAM, random access memory. That's all your brain is in your head. And it does other things, but in actuality, the real operating system is your heart. And it is an electric device. Most people don't realize that. And it's an alchemical electric device. Now, the only important thing in your cottage cheese brain is your pineal gland, your third eye, right? And where all of your intelligence lies is in your gut, and you've got billions of little guys in there, and that's where you have your gut reaction, gut instinct, right? So the real deal is how you visualize what your life is, right? I take 10 to 20 moments during the day to be totally at ease and totally consciously in state with God's love, right? And I usually do that in a beautiful place, right? And where no one is. And as long as it's quiet, it can almost be anywhere, right? But what occurs is, so I'm dealing right now every day with lots of people, hundreds, coming and going, leaving stuff, wanting stuff, needing stuff. And I do not put myself as the official. I put myself as the helper, right? And what I see, I see this lady came in the other day and she had everything wrong with her lungs, asthma, OPD, SLP, you name the medical abbreviation of what was wrong with her body and lungs. Basically, what was wrong with her was her soul, her spirit. She had been so mistreated, so, just not taken care of or cared for, abused. And she was like in her 40s. She looked older than me, and I'm pushing 80, right? And I have a lot of things wrong with me, but I don't let them rule my life, I'm God's doula, right? So whatever God wants me to do, I go do, right? And it's not like he's talking to me. He just puts me into positions and places, and I things come up, and there I am, right? So that was yesterday. I had a lot of that. And today I didn't go there. I kind of had other things to go take a look at, check on people, see how they're doing, how neighborhoods are doing, see if our outreach is reaching them, and all of the above. And so I got to this place that the roads wiped out, and the highway patrol guy was there. And so that was good. I wanted to get his 411 on what's going on and give him information that I might have that he didn't have. So we were talking, and we, when I first showed up, he didn't know me. And then I, walked up, hey, how you doing? I'm from over there at the big splat, and we're just seeing how our satellite's doing. And I'm Al, OWL. And he goes, oh, I've heard of you. Oh, so you're the guy who reads palms. I said, yeah, let's see your palm. So I'm reading his palm, and this guy comes up, and he goes, I must. And, and we kind of, we're having a conversation. I'm reading his palm. And we both kind of look at the guy, and he's like, wants all our attention. He wants us, to stop talking to each other and focus on him. So we do. So what's your problem? He goes, well, I just came from Asheville. I said, really? How'd you get here? Every road is destroyed. How did you get here? He goes, I don't know. I just followed my phone, and it got me here. And I said, well, the road from this point on is washed out. I mean, didn't your little phone tell you that? And he goes, well, kind of. I said, so why'd you even come down this road? And he goes, well, I'm lost. I have no idea where I am. I said, where you want to go? Because I want to go to Las Vegas. I said, what? He goes, well, I came up here with a church group, and I was in Asheville for about 2 weeks. And I said, so what happened to the church group? He goes, well, they left without me. I said, okay, so what do you want to get where? He says, well, I want to get back to 81, right? So I said, okay. So you want to go west on 40? He goes, oh, I want to go to north on. I said, no. Las Vegas is west, not north, right? And so I said, listen, I'm just going to, right now, I can either just ignore you and leave you here, or I'll take you where you need to go. I'll get you on that highway. And from there, it's good luck, right? So we're going along, and he's following me. And the highway patrol guy tells the guy, listen, follow this guy. He knows what he's talking about. And the road he's going to take you on it's a beautiful day. You just came from a horrible place. Just enjoy the ride. Just follow him. Don't think about anything. I mean, I was telling him all of this just, 10 minutes ago in state, showing the policeman how to meditate and how to de-stress himself. And boy, he did a great job. So he's telling this guy, just enjoy the ride. Don't worry about where he's getting to go. And so, he's like following me. And we get to this place, and I go, and I put my blinker on like a good quarter mile before we're going to make the turn. And I turn left, and he goes right. So I had to turn around and go get him. I said, where are you going? He goes, well, my box says, I said, do you want to follow that, or do you want to follow me? I mean, look where the box got you. Got you to a place where you had no idea where you were going. And, I'm taking you right to the highway. And so he goes, okay. And so he followed me. And we get to the place where I'm going to let him go. And I say, so listen. So I pulled into this restaurant that I knew, right? Really nice restaurant. And they've been giving food free the last 2 weeks because they just got their electricity and they gave all that free food because if they didn't, they'd have to throw it away. So they're cooking it up and giving it out. So this was like the last day of it. And they were having some really nice special stuff. And I knew it. So I said, come on, let's have a really good meal. And you can tell me about your stories, right? And so he goes, no, I'm in a rush. And I said, what is 20 minutes in a 2-day drive and when did you last eat something? I said, well, yesterday. I said, you're not hungry? Yeah, I'm kind of hungry. This is going to be a really good meal that's free. And he goes, no, I got to go. And I said, so listen, I have a question to ask. He goes, what? I said, so did you take any pictures of Asheville? And he goes, yeah, I took a lot. And I said, well, I lived in Asheville. Can I see some? He goes, no. I said, can you send me some? He goes, no. And so I said, okay, good luck. And he left without even saying thank you because, I spent a good 40 minutes and I had to run after him a couple, that one time. And I took him to a place where he was going to get a nice meal and relax, and he didn't. So he had this whole thing in his mind about his ego and what he had to do. He wasn't going to listen to God, wasn't going to listen to anyone, right? And that's what I've seen a good deal. But I have to report that 98% of the people are doing a great job of listening and working with each other, right? So it's a really good thing, right? And so this is a great opportunity, and I've been talking it up, but this is a great opportunity that we can, get away from being, asleep and not caring for our fellow man, and that we can live in a community, and that's the only thing that's going to save our butt. So anyway, there's somebody. Hey, there's somebody. Can you hear me? I have issues with my instruments here, and so I'm just wondering how you're doing. Can you hear me? So, and I got it on live chat. Anybody can live chat me. Let's see if I can show you something interesting. Oh, stupid thing won't go on there. Nebs. That's all I can say is Nebs. No. Well, can't do that. It's the only device that's working at the moment. So, can you hear me? Yoo-hoo! Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Tommy, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Tommy? That's the Who's opera. Pinball Wizard. It's got to be a fix. So it's quite interesting and strange, and who cares, right? Most people just think it's all about them, but it's not. It's about the we and me, right? Anyway, I'm getting sleepy. And it's when it gets to be 15 minutes, so you're there, number one there. So you can't report saying you can, even if you were AI, you could tell me yes or no whether you can hear my voice. That'd be nice. What else am I thinking about? Well, the hidden hand, the powers that be, there. You think there's at least 6 more hurricanes, in the bullpen, right? And I would say one of them, whichever one, there's a couple out there in the Antilles that could either go on the east side and come up, in the Atlantic, or could stay, head into the Gulf of Mexico and either, again, hit Florida on the West Coast or up in the Panhandle, or it could, hit New Orleans or Texas. I think Texas is going to get one, a really good one, right? And take out a lot of those oil rigs in the Gulf of Mexico. And because we're going to have a real hard winter. And it's going to be, we're going to have a big blast of cold air this weekend across all of the 48. And then next week, about Tuesday-ish, it is going to warm up and get hotter and hotter. And like by the weekend, be pretty, abnormally warm, like in the high 80s, maybe even 90s. And in Texas, Arizona, it'll be 3 digits, right? And I would say that we could also have a grid collapse because of the utilization of electricity. First, a lot of people use electricity to warm themselves up and then to turn on the air conditioning. And we've just had a big coronal ejection that has affected our, the higher atmosphere, where we had this, the ozone layer and other parts of the upper atmosphere, up about 100 miles high. And in that very rarefied plasma, that is our upper atmosphere, that is what protects us from the heavy-duty radiation of our sun and all other cosmic radiation that's all over space, right? And that is collapsing, with the utilization of weather amelioration, weather technology. We are experiencing a surreal dynamic, right? So anyway, just wondering how it's all going, right? What do you think? How's it doing, right? What else can I say? So in the next 18 months, we are going to have truly one of those historic moments. But pretty much, since, the Civil War in the United States, the world has been this transnational cabal, Hail Hydra kind of experience. So I went off and did all that stuff and checked on everybody and had that little experience with, taking the guy to where he needed to go, but he didn't trust I was showing him the right way. And more than a couple of times he said, "Are you leading me in the wrong direction?" Like he didn't trust anybody, right? So anyway, when I got back to Grand Central, there weren't as many people working. People are still dropping stuff off. I mean, we have mountains of water, and which, people going, "What are we going to do with all this stuff?" And I said, guys, you should be thankful that what we have, because I think in a very short time, there isn't going to be anything else, right? So be thankful for what you got. So, that was problem A. So when I got back, I was, helping move this, clear that, blah, 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 right? We are going to be having, at the Grand Central, we're going to have, November, we're going to have voting there. It's a school, right? Or was a school. So the guys, they still, wanted to use it, so we're going to let them use it, right? So we had to clear out a couple of the spaces. So I was clearing out this one space, and the girls who were in charge, we started clearing it out, and there was two people helping them, and then they left to do something else, and then those two people who were helping went off and did something else. So there I was. So when we were all together, we moved about a quarter of the stuff they wanted moved. And we did it relatively quickly and painlessly because I kept moving things out of the way so we could logistically move it rather than, hump it, right? I found some wheelbarrows and we, did stuff like that. And then they left and I had to move the other, 3/4 of the stuff. But I had logistically set it up so it wasn't that tough. So I had the wheelbarrows and I had these other kind of moving carts. So I just kind of piled the stuff on the carts and moved it into another room adjacent to where they wanted this room cleared out. And then this guy came in and said, well, don't move this stuff. I'm moving it out tomorrow. And, that room really doesn't have to be cleared out until, November 5th. So screw it, Okay, there's someone saying something. Let's see, on for 20 minutes and nobody home. Where's, So Jamie, is that Jamie? I think so. Can you hear me now? Right? Can you hear me? I've had issues with all my devices, and I'm just using this one device that's my last the thing I don't use normally, but it's working. So can you hear me? Because I didn't know if I hit the right buttons. But anyway, the situation is nominal, right? But I see chinks in the human chain. I see the crone world know what to do. Yep. Pretty much. And we who are adepts, we're there to assist. And that's why I'm a doula of God's unconditional love, right? So I'm agape love. I remember Captain Antonilla singing Muskrat Love, right? I'm agape love. Agape love, right? Can hear you perfect. Great. You all good? Do just Al watching. Yep, that's pretty much just me and you. There's two of us here. I think the other one, there's you, Jamie, and then there's AI there, right? Because AI always comes on early and stays late and never says anything. But come on, AI, you're my puppy dog. You're my puppy. He left. Or did Jamie leave? You still there, Jamie? I don't have my glasses. Where are my glasses? I can't put my glasses. Anyway, so this guy at Ground Zero, at Grand Central, he is kind of annoying, right? Because he's like, when I first met him, we were having some kind of a conversation, right? And I basically was saying that, our political structure is a joke, and, and Donald Trump is right. He lies so much, he tells the truth. So when he's saying that everything's fixed, he's right. The thing that Donald never goes any further than that to describe what it is. And I said, George Carlin was, he's the guy. If you want to know what the political structure in America is, go watch George Carlin on YouTube. And so the guy goes, what are you talking about? And I said, he goes, are you going to vote? And I said, no, why should I? Why the world is so screwed up is because guys like you won't vote. Don't complain if you don't vote. I said, I don't complain, I just talk about how it is. I don't really complain. I don't care, I really don't care, it'd be okay for me, It doesn't matter which one of these two puddinheads, the girl or Donnie Chump, win, because they're both going to do the same thing and basically destroy what illusion of a democracy is. We are going to go straight in. We're already physically, since 9/11 in martial law. So I would say somewhere in the next 4 or 5 weeks. I mean, we just had a big CME, and it has affected our, So, Jamie, did you see the Northern Lights last night? Were you out and about in the evening? And was your sky clear? Because I kind of got up around 3 and walked out there. It was perfect time because it hadn't. They call this the Smoky Mountains. We kind of live near the Smoky Mountains, but what it is we have this very interesting thing. It can be like super blue sky at night and beautiful stars. And then around 4 or 5, the dew point changes and we get fog, right? And so when you wake up in the morning around 6, it's a little foggy, right? But around 3, 2 or 3, it's perfect, and the moon has set, and so we had Northern Lights all the way down here. So I was looking at it on the YouTube, and there was Northern Lights everywhere. This was a time, no other time was ever like as, because we had this big CME. They're pumping all kinds of gunk into the upper atmosphere to control the weather, and so the night sky was just woo. So did you see that? Oh, there's 3 of you there. 1 thumbs up, thank you. So this unit is working pretty good. I did a show earlier this morning that was maybe a little more deeper comprehensiveness. I'm kind of tired because I did a lot of movement stuff today, right? So I don't always do that because I'm an old guy and all my joints don't work that well. And up until recently, there've been tons of people to move stuff around. So I just was there to get people to dream. You saw that tonight. I think, however it was today when I saw it in the morning, I guess they consider it. And it's supposed to be pretty colorful tonight too, and it's a really super clear night. We've had beautiful days, really, really beautiful days. And the skies have been blue, not silvery white. So the real deal about all this is don't worry about this shit. Don't get yourself, because I look on the YouTube and there are all these people, freaking out, and the preppers, and it's just, a repeat of the Y2K, a repeat of the 9/11. Tonight, they nuked. Who? Thought they nuked what? I don't have my glasses. Even though you printed bold, and I appreciate that. Merc. Nuked you Merc. Whatever that means. It's all good, but so I pray a lot, right? And I pray within the context of love's co-creation, right? To help people out. So this guy, just before I left, I've been wearing the same pants and shirt, and we're giving clothes away. So I screw it, I'm gonna, So I got myself a nice little hoodie, and I got some pants and socks, and this guy goes, you need to help me put stuff in your car? Like I got this, plastic garbage bag with a few things in it. And it's like, he wants to see what I took, right? I was like, no, I'm good. And I go, why have you parked your truck right in the middle of the road so no one can get around? And all day long, it's been unbelievable. All these big trucks are coming in, and your pickup truck was not mine. I said, yeah, but you drive it around. I mean, well, I was told I can't drive it anymore, so I just left. I said, you left it in the most inconvenient place for everyone to have to deal with. And he goes, well, no, they told me I couldn't drive it, so I didn't drive it. So you couldn't drive it 10 feet out of the way onto the grass. You just left it in the middle of the road. And he goes, they told me to, I said, okay, I'll go move it. Is the keys in the car? I don't know. So I went out there and somebody else moved it. So I thought, good. And then I left. But I should have gone back because the guy was obviously, really tweaked, And, so he's an annoying guy. Everyone doesn't want to be around him because he's annoying. Now, I'm a different kind of guy there. And there's some people who give me the stink eye, but I go and give them a hug and a kiss on the cheek and they freak out, right? Especially the big guys. And I say, don't worry about it, buddy. Come on, sit down and talk. Let's talk, And then I go, so why do you want to kill me? I can just see all your body language. You're doing everything you can do from trying to beat the pulp out of me. But why, And we have the saying, and usually they start to cry, and I go and pat them on the back. And I say, it's okay. Whatever happened to you as a kid, not your fault. Whatever stupid stuff you did as a teenager, not your fault. That's the past. This is now. Live in the now. Listen, you got a pretty, you're working, driving that forklift. I mean, you got a job, right? And you got, you got a nice family. Be the best guy you can with your family, right? So I've had about 5 of these kind of conversations in the last 2 weeks with the guys there, right? Because they're there protecting people. Instead of moving boxes and doing this, they're sitting over there spitting tobacco on the floor and protecting us. We need protecting, And they're closing all the doors so people don't steal the stuff. We're giving this stuff away. If somebody steals it, that's like giving it away. Well, we have to protect. No, we don't. Give it away, That's why we're doing this, to give, these people need this stuff. Give it away. Yes, we the girls are doing a great job organizing everything, and all the socks in one room, all the it's everything as you can find it. It's really great. Me, I've taken the stuff that we will need, right? We don't have to give it all away, there's a big box of hammers. We don't have to give every hammer away, and then we don't have a hammer. We'll keep 2 and give 100 away. That's good, right? Same with shovels and that. So I've made a little stash of stuff that we're going to need, right? So that's where it is. I cut myself on a piece of metal, right? And I was bleeding, and people were freaking out. And I said, no. I went out, and we had boxes and boxes of hand sanitizer, and we've been giving it away, but nobody opened up one so we could use it on ourselves. So I'm bleeding, and I'm opening. Does anyone come over and say, oh, Al, let me help you with that? No. So they're just watching me, right? I go over and open up a box of paper towels and just wrap my arm, and this woman goes, don't you need a Band-Aid? And I said, paper towel does a nice job, thank you. And so I kind of, did that. And then I went over to where the coffee machine was, and there's a thing of sugar, and I sprinkle sugar on my bleeding arm. And everyone goes, what are you doing? And I said, the only good thing for sugar is it stops bleeding, right? And it did, because I was really bleeding. I mean, I didn't cut a vein or anything, but I cut my fascia pretty deep. So anyway, and it stops it, and I wrapped it up in a paper towel. And then I went and dug around. No one did anything to help. So I found the one, relatively mediocre first aid kit, and, I fixed up my arm, right? And then I went out to my car, and I have this great stuff you can get at Tractor Supply has all kinds of medical stuff for animals. Pretty good on humans. We're animals too. And they have this purple wound stuff that the Army uses on soldiers when they get, blown up. And it really does, promotes it. It's purple, and you spray it on the wound, and it makes, not only the wound, but about 5 inches all around the wound. And so there's, without having a Band-Aid or a gauze or anything, it's a protective thing, and then you put the Band-Aid over it. And so I just went and got another piece of paper towel and put it around my arm and then wrapped it up in electric tape because I always have that in my pocket. Electric tape is great because it sticks to itself and it can unfurl itself, and then you can, whereas if you have medical tape, use it once and that's it. Then it's worthless after that, right? You put it on and then you take it off, you try to put it on the gloves again, and not going to do it. So anyway, so people are just watching me do this. Do they help me? No. Do they watch it? No. They just watch me, and they get all upset. So I clean up my own blood and, and they're like, so, I just cut myself on a little piece of metal that's on this refrigerator, and I was trying to pack the zillion tomatoes that we got, and no one gave them out to anyone. And so they kind of rotted. It's like, really, because, they're tomatoes, we should save those. And so give them out to the people, right? Anyway. So that's, so I don't, hold any position of authority or power or anything, but I'm always there and everyone's watching me do stuff and say the things I say. And 90% of them have really kind of changed just by my presence being there. The other 9.2% are still thinking about it. And the 0.6% are like, aren't going to change too much. Purple shit. I don't know if that's the medical term, purple shit, is a legend. Yep, it's really great stuff. I always have a can of it in my car. And I've dealt with way worse wounds. I mean, so it bled. See, the thing is, I'm old, and my skin, my derma is like paper. And so, I mean, it shouldn't have really done anything, but, it ripped, and my, fascia underneath kind of went to the place where that part of your fascia is like all blood vessels, right? Just not arteries but, that like, little spidery stuff of blood vessels that connects to your fascia. Anyway, I kind of ruptured those, and they bled a lot. It was kind of, but I've seen way worse, gunshot wounds, things like steering columns going through people's chests and leaving them still alive. And we have to cut, if we pull them off the steering column, they will probably die, within 5 minutes. So we have to cut the steering column and transport the victim with the steering column still in them to the emergency trauma center. Twice I did that. And we used the jaws of life. Someone's going, let's get out the chainsaw. I said, no, are you nuts? No. So we went and got the jaws of life and put on the real sharp things, and it was just open just wide enough to go around the steering column. And it just, pneumatics are great. Just snapped it off like a toenail, right? And we kind of packed him, and we had these really great rubber suits we could put people in, and then fill it bladder with air so it held all their blood in. Worked great, right? We got him there, and he was still semi-conscious, and he wasn't dying. His vitals were pretty good. I said, and so I put like this neck brace on him. He said, there's nothing wrong with my neck. I said, no, I just want to elevate your head so the blood will go to your brain and you won't conk out. And I don't want you to see what you look like, because you would, you have an idea what happened, but I don't want you to see it. So we kind of, he couldn't really see it because the suit was on, but I still didn't want, because that steering column was pushing, it was obvious what was going on. So I didn't want him to see it. So the people stuff, great place. Oh, God. See, you put it all in, capitals. That's great. Purple stuff is greatest. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Fragment. Yep. So we had that purple stuff, and we had, like the FDA approved, but it's the same stuff that they use for animals that they use on people. So, and there's some other great things that that animals are given that good for us too. Now I can't, prescribe anything and tell you to do anything. I can tell you stories about my experiences, and don't believe a word I say. The Amish showed up today, and they had these fritters that were out of this world, and they're just starting to burp up now. But they had guava, they had mango, they had pineapple and raspberry and blueberry, and it's yummy. We had a lot of good pastries brought by the Amish today, and they came from Pennsylvania, which was, and they had a truck full of pastries, right? And they stopped at lots of different places. So I love the Amish. I used to live upstate New York in the Finger Lakes, and there were a number of Amish communities that I used to hang with. So, especially when the kids would have that year off to go crazy and decide whether they want to go back. And, once you went back to Amish, you had to sign up, right? You couldn't then go have another vacation. You could just do it once, when you're about 18, 19, you can go into the English world and get a job and go to discos and have a lot of fornication and do stuff. And then you decide whether to stay in that world or go back to the Amish world. And pretty much most of the folks do go back. And that's, the Amish are really smart by letting those kids do that, because it gets it out of their system. They realize what they really got, and that's a lot, better. And they, most of those guys and gals have hooked up by the time they're 15. Now, they may not be, doing the nasty, but they have picked somebody who's special to them, and they're that. And often they go off, and I think they actually go their separate ways when they go do that year of debauchery, just to check it out, because, and then they come back, or they don't. And yep, love's co-creation. That's it. That's the only way this works, right? Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so it's getting dark 30. It's moving on to 6:45. We've been here for 43 minutes and 22 seconds. So, and there's 4 of you there. How about some more thumbs up, kids? And, what's your opinion? This, James always there, and I really, really, really appreciate, James, that you always throw in the live chat, right? Because I respond much better to that than just, doing a monologue. And next time I'll make sure I have my glasses. But we are being, navigated into a experience of like, oh my God, it's pretty obvious there's going to be a nuclear exchange of sorts, right? But, Russia's hardware is so debunked that they really having a hard time, blasting stuff off. They are doing a, bang up job on taking out the public assets in Ukraine and killing innocent citizens. And Ukraine is doing a pretty good job at just blowing up military stuff without killing a lot of innocent citizens. But in reality, both the war in Ukraine and the war in Israel, Gaza, Beirut, Iran, and that's going to definitely take off, and probably Israel will blow up Iran's oil installations, and Iran will blow up, Saudi Arabia's oil installations, and it'll go from there. I would give even Stephen that once that happens, Russia will, let go of, if the Ukrainians continually blow up all of their weapons depots, and if they start hitting things, let's say in Moscow, like if they go after the Kremlin, that would be fun. That would destabilize the politique in Russia, and to get, that back in Vlad's hands, he would probably nuke Kiev and Odessa, and because he's going after, commercial shipping, just in that little nook between Ukraine and NATO Sea, because that's Ukraine's getting their wheat, and Ukraine is the most fertile place in Europe, and I could see Russia nuking that area so they can't make food for at least 100 years. Because Russia isn't the Russian people. It's not even Vlad. Vlad's just a puppet. It's, again, Hail Hydra, right? And the only way Hail Hydra is trying to push the human race. First of all, it wants to depopulate the Earth by 1 billion or 2 or 3. And it wants to basically, they're already out in space, right? They're already all over the solar system, and they're already, gone past the solar system, right? And so they are already dealing with other races all over the universe, right? And what they want to do is bring forth a federation, kind of like Star Trek experience, right? So that's kind of where, Hail Hydra is trying to push us, right? Now, who knows what that will be like, and will it be like Steven Spielberg's film, first, Player One? That was a good, metaphor for what we could be looking at. That was a 15-minute city. Also, a good image of it was the movie Blade Runner, the first one, right? That, that scene where it's always raining, it's always dark, it's always depressing, and because we as human beings, we need the light. We are light workers. We are light entities, and being in the darkness is not good for us, right? So there's only one of you left. Only one gave a thumbs up. Stay well. Okay, you're going. So I'm going to go too. So let's see. When it's at 50-50, I will say goodnight. And maybe I'll come back later this evening. But I'm going to go take a nice hot shower. Enjoy that. So, okay. So, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as it is in heaven. Enjoy. Let us live in peace and prosperity. Let us be brothers and sisters to each other. Let us protect the innocent, and let us get out of our own way. Hear us now. Thank you, Lord. We all love you. And in love's co-creation, we will move forward. Asake, amen. Aho. Catch you later, alligator. In a while, crocodile.